Welcome back to the X Podcast. We are joined today. First off, Mr. Moore, how are you?
Good. How are you, Mr. Moore?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
My brother from another mother.
That's right.
Oh,
He's my. I go by my nickname sometimes. I tell people it's Russ when I think they'll be mad at me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
did you hear what you?
Did you get any emails?
Actually,
You
yes.
did actually. It was pretty
Yes.
funny.
We started our new series, and he said, "Yeah, if anybody has any issues, just
If you're offended.
Oh yeah,
email-
no, I saw that.
email
yeah.
Russ.
email
That's
me
more-
at Russ.Moore at the
Yes.
Church." So.
I laugh at all your jokes. I don't know about everybody,
I
but
appreciate
I
that.
like
You know
the
what?
We
jokes.
love that about
I
you.
we
really
like
do.
you.
All right, we should
Yeah.
introduce
Speaking of,
Kailin.
if you are listening but not watching, we have
Yes.
a very special guest. That voice that you hear is not Zachary Brown.
Nope.
That is Kailin Welch.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. This is really cool. I never expected to be on a podcast. I've never been on a podcast, so this is really cool.
How do you feel? This is your inaugural day.
Honestly, I was fine, and then I just got a little bit nervous because we're about to dive in some really cool topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, usually what we have somebody do if it's their first time
Yeah.
is to sing 30 seconds of their favorite Christmas song.
Well.
Are you?
You can't do that with her.
I know.
Because she actually
knows
sings
you. Well,
and she loves to
that's
sing.
true.
That's
No,
true.
you had to have done something
Dang
else.
it.
See, that's
Dang it.
he's just
Okay.
trying to screw with you. But
All
she
right.
would actually. She'd be like, all right.
I mean,
That's
I
true.
honestly, if you're serious, I would, but I know you
No,
well
we're
enough to
not.
know you're just teasing.
Yeah.
I understand.
Most of the
yeah.
time you can tell when he's lying.
Oh,
that
yeah.
wouldn't have
his
worked
lips
because
are moving.
you know you say that. You say that, but you can sing, and you're actually very confident.
Yeah,
So you would have
I
just
would
gone
say
with it.
so.
You would have just gone with it.
Honestly, though, I don't know. I'm a little different than I used to be. There's some like pressure. I don't know. But if you guys really wanted me to, I absolutely would. But that's
Okay.
for another day.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I don't
So-
think we need to make her sing.
So we won't. We won't. Okay. So first off, before we dive into the topic, just give us a quick bio snapshot of you.
Okay, so
You know, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to start with like I was born this day, but you know,
man, I have to throw out the whole script.
30
unprepared.
seconds.
I'm just kidding.
just 30 seconds.
Okay,
yeah.
so I come from divorced parents. I grew up in Canal, Winchester, graduated from Canal, Winchester, and I didn't really have a relationship with Jesus growing up. I had a good friend in high school who still attends this church. She's Amy Ratliff, Amy Osborne. She's Andrea and Anna's little sister, and I always admired her faith. And I wasn't a rebellious teenager, but I would say, like, coming from divorced parents, my mom did her best to always stay consistent, but my dad kind of became non-existent in my high school career, which, looking back on that, led to me, you know, trying to be fulfilled and date all these boys and search for something that wasn't enough for me. And so I graduated high school. I was always like a singer growing up. I was in the arts, so I was like, why not go to college and study music? So I shockingly got a scholarship to Capital University.
Did you?
Yes, I honestly,
awesome.
so to this
You
day,
did all
I'm
the
like,
drama stuff
yeah,
at the school.
Grew up with Tucker.
Yeah,
and-
yep, you were-
like we were little
Choir.
butt buddies. Like, yeah.
So wait, you said you got a scholarship for music.
Yep.
Was it for vocal or was it?
Yes.
Do you play instruments?
So
You play piano. I've seen that before.
So
right?
I play chords. Like
Okay.
I wouldn't
Not
say
classical,
play piano.
but you know how to play
no,
chords.
no. Like I could never do what Janice and
Oh.
Joy does. No. But yeah. So it was for vocal performance and opera. So like I grew up singing classical music.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of
You sang classical like
Yeah.
opera?
Oh, okay.
Now I do want her to sing
no,
a song.
No. Hey, come to
Pavarotti.
the community choir concert on what is it, May 20th
Hold
or
on,
something
Sarah.
like
You in that too? This is
Yes.
Anna's mastermind, isn't it?
It is. Yes, actually, she
Wait,
did. She did
This is
kind of.
like an adult
This is-
community
Yeah.
choir, and it's not done by a school.
Anna Johnson had an idea. She's like, I miss choir. I want to like reach out to everybody I know that wants to be in the choir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I telling this right?
Yes.
And literally like ensembled this whole. Like, how
Yeah.
many people are in it?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Kevin's
I
in it.
would say maybe
Right.
50.
50?
50 people.
Oh my
And
gosh.
50% of the people are over the age of 60.
Anna assembled
For real?
50 people.
Uh-huh.
Is that big of an age gap?
Well, I'm being a little bit dramatic, which is really
Okay.
common for
so
me.
they're really
but
more
there
like
are,
38.
There's a lot of senior citizens.
Okay, but they are
in the
senior
choir.
citizens.
Oh, there's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, who are
That's
local
cool.
to the area, who have sang
That's
or just want to
cool.
sing. And then there's like me, Anna, Tucker, Andrea, and Kevin, who are like alumni and just miss singing in a choral setting. So it's really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Where are they doing it? Here?
At the little
Where's it?
Presbyterian church right off of, what is that? Like by Trine Street, kind of behind
Okay, yeah.
Shades. Yeah. It's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes.
Classical. Sorry, I
Yes,
didn't mean to
that's
interrupt.
okay,
I just
that's
found that
okay.
interesting. I'm
I
learning
mean,
about
I'll
you.
wrap my little story up. But yeah,
Okay.
I figured I've never really told you about myself either. So this is kind of a
yeah,
good
so
opportunity.
classical.
Yep. So
then-
again, I wasn't a bad student growing up, but like I never took academics seriously because that just wasn't what I liked. You know, I was very, very social. So I was at Capitol for only a semester. I realized, wow, I'm not just here to sing and have fun and like live my best life. I have to study. Like the conservatory was really strict. So literally after a semester, left. My mom was like devastated, of course, because not because of the whole
Scholarship to college for a degree.
Hey, but we are only in like $4,500 of debt after one semester, so
Wow.
that's not bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So left Capitol. I started doing eyelash extensions on my parents' couch, and it was like a huge trend. This was in like 2016, 2017, and within 6 months, I was making as much money as my mother with her master's degree job
Oh my
at
gosh.
Mount Carmel. And she
No.
looks at me and she goes, you have something here. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you should go get your license and be a cosmetologist and do this for real. And I actually listened to my mother for once.
Wow.
And I took her advice. So a year and a half later, graduated cosmetology school. Right before I graduated, I met my now husband, Tony. And one of the first things that really like intrigued me with him was that he grew up like having such strong faith. He's one of 9 children. His parents are still married. And I knew that was something that I always wanted. But again, when I first came to Crossroads a couple times in high school after I met Amy, I just never felt like I was ashamed. I was like, no, there's no way like God could love me. So anyway, met Tony, and we started coming to church maybe a year after we met, got married per se, because we
When did you
moved
guys get married?
very quickly. 2020.
Okay.
We had a really, really like beautiful backyard wedding at my parents' house. It was really cool.
Wow.
my
I didn't
daughter got
realize it
married
was
in
that
2020.
recent.
Yeah, we've only been together we've been dating almost 6 years, married almost 4 years.
He got baptized in 2021.
Yeah, you have a really good memory.
You have a weird memory.
Yeah.
Also, for those of you that don't know her husband, he
He
looks
looks
like a Greek.
me, but
Yeah,
Honestly,
little.
I can see the resemblance.
he looks like
he kind of looks like a Greek goddess.
He's a Greek, Greek god,
God,
not
not goddess. Yeah, I guess
he's
that
a
would
Greek
be
god,
that'd
and
be a
Yeah.
he's
cut.
what we all look like in our dreams. And
I
but
would
he's
agree.
an awesome guy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I remember at a wedding last summer him telling me I didn't realize he was one of 9.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
insane.
Yes. 5 of his younger siblings are adopted. So his parents have 4 biological. Tony's the youngest of their biological children. And they've adopted 5 children, all from the same mother.
And he has such a tender heart because of
awesome.
it.
He really does.
He looks like
Tony's
King
different.
Leonidas, but he has the heart of a teddy bear.
Yeah. I would even say like a Chris Hemsworth when he plays Thor.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I gotta be
Yeah.
honest. I like Chris Hemsworth a whole lot more than Liam.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're right. He does kind of have that look.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, all that's led you to here.
Yeah.
And then what's
Yes.
led you to this table is a few weeks ago. It's hard, but I try to call him Tim on this podcast. But
fine.
he was looking at my forehead.
There was some reason we got to this. It had nothing to do with that.
Well, no,
we,
you
we brought up a conversation about wrinkles.
Yeah, and you said, hey, well, actually, you were kind of backhanded complimentary. You were like, there's not a lot of wrinkles on your forehead yet, but when you smile, there's a few. Like, you need to.
No,
I think you said you need to deal with that.
I did not.
Which, can I just say this? This is why it's good to have you on here, because not only
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear your story, but
Yeah.
maybe you can help us.
Oh, I would love
Because
to help.
I got a text, Chloe Pemberton, bless your heart. The other day, I don't know where I was, but she sent me a text. She goes, I just need to tell you something. And I said, what? She goes, one of the people in my group was asking your age and said they thought you were 27. And let me tell you something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that happens.
Let me
a
tell you
lot to
something.
me.
I more and
bet.
more am getting asked closer to my age, which I don't like. I want to keep my parents' genes. My parents look 15 years younger
They
than they
do.
are.
They
Yeah.
do.
You've
I
met them.
did. I said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that made my day, and I want to keep it like that. I want to
Mhm.
reverse it. And
Oh, I can help you.
All right.
I can
All
help
right.
you.
So what
Well,
you
so
masterminded.
it's actually even Zach, who's been on here, we've had conversations, and I believe we were having a conversation on the podcast, and we just kind of joked, we're like, we should talk about anti-aging. because it's such a big market now.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of what led to this. And we thought, well, if we're going to talk about anti-aging, we need to get somebody on here who actually knows something about it and is doing it. And I thought it was fascinating to have you. So how old are you?
26.
26 years old. And so I think most of the time, at least historically, when we've heard people talk about anti-aging, maybe there was a time when it seemed like that was just reserved for people probably like in their 60s and up.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, and now it has become fashionable for 20-something-year-olds that don't have wrinkles.
Yep.
And everything. It's like, you don't need this, but now it's really
Now's the
popular, and
time.
now's the time
Yeah.
to do it. So that's so much has changed about
Yeah.
anti-aging. So we thought we'd bring Kailin on here, who you work kind of in. What do you do?
So I am a
No.
cosmetologist since I actually graduated and finished something.
Good for you.
But yeah, so
big deal.
for the last what? It is.
No,
But no,
that was an inside joke for him, but people will
Okay.
find out. That's not.
I was gonna say, if you know me though,
No.
that is a big deal.
No, that was about. Never mind.
That's fine.
I can't
That's fine.
say because it's about an inside joke, but it'll come out eventually.
Okay.
So,
But yeah,
you
so I do hair.
graduated, and
Yeah.
you graduated from high school and cosmetology school, right?
Yes,
That's a
yes.
big deal.
Yep.
And then you became a cosmetologist, and you primarily do what?
I primarily do blonding services, like AKA coloring hair.
Okay.
And then I also install hair extensions for people who have like fine hair or just want more bougie, long, luscious hair to make
Is
them
that
feel
in
better.
right now?
Oh, it's been in
Is
for
it
a long
always in or
time.
not? So I don't
It
understand.
is. It
because
really is for a lot of people. But then there are phases where women are on this like it's called the clean girl aesthetic, where like people
Is that what
are
my daughter's doing right
Yes.
now, Audrey?
Yes.
And she cut off her hair
Yep.
down to like
Yep.
shoulder.
And then dyeing it all one color,
that's-
keeping
she's-
it shorter, wearing less makeup, more skincare, just gel on the
That's
eyebrows.
kind of like her. She's my youngest has always been into skincare. She's like
Good.
She's one of those ones that follows all the people on TikTok and Instagram, and my wife will ask her and all this, and she was like, "No, you need this product. You need to do this product. You
Oh
shouldn't
my
do this."
gosh.
Like she's pays attention to all of them more, and she doesn't even really wear makeup very much. She'll wear a little bit, but she cares more about the skin. So what you're
Right.
describing is her
Is
look
her.
right now. That's
Yep.
what she's doing.
Yep. She's right on trend. So, like I was saying, hair extensions, they're always in, but there
Okay.
is a trend right now. Like, for example, eyelash extensions. I said I did them for a really, really
Yeah.
long time. That's kind of what got me into the beauty industry. After a decade, I finally decided to take mine off. I think it was a little bit of a conviction just because I'm like, why do I need to look so done up all the time? I want to be able to like not wear makeup.
What's wrong with your eyelashes?
Well, this has been a journey. So
Okay.
nothing's wrong with them now. I'm very happy with them.
Okay.
Yeah, very happy. But after you get eyelash extensions off, just like when you take hair extensions out, you feel bald. You literally feel
Yeah.
bald. So we had to grow them back a little bit, but it's been like 6 months now, and I'm
Okay.
super happy. I'm not going back.
You know what, Kailin? You know what I love is when you talk about the journey with eyelash extensions. That is how I've heard Pastor Tim describe his journey with his eyelashes. He's described it
wow.
as a journey.
Yeah.
This is why I said you can't believe half of what he says.
What?
so-
No, I
What?
get it.
Okay, so you do hair, blonding services.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm looking at
Extensions.
your eyebrows right now, and I'm just kind of getting this mental image of you as a brunette.
Yeah.
Are you brunette?
So I would say technically, if we take the hair strand out at the root, I would be classified as a light brunette. So
Light brunette.
yes, like many other women.
So how
this-
often do you have to dye yours?
Actually, I'm pretty low maintenance, like every 4 months.
Really?
Yes, I
But so it
figured you'd be
does- so
shocked.
You don't look like a skunk after so
No,
much time with a restrict. Now
because-
you don't even understand what that is.
No, he
I have a wife who gets her hair dyed, so
Oh, I'm
every
sure.
once in a while on highlights, and so
Yep.
when it grows out, you get that nice dark strip
Yep.
as it's growing. You don't get that?
No, because of the way my color's done. It's called a root tap. After you do the highlights, you do a little root smudge of like your natural color to just like blend out that blonde. So
Okay.
you're technically like, if I look down,
Yeah.
I'm darker at my roots. So then I can
Yeah.
go like an extra couple months without it looking bad. That's like the new color nowadays, is like the lived in, like you want to look like you're blonde, but you don't want to look like you just got your hair done.
You
so
have a variety of. I'm looking at your hair. You have a lot of different highlights in
Yeah.
it too.
Yep.
Right in the front, you've
Yep.
got like really bleach blonde, almost whitish.
yep.
People listening are like, "What are we talking
I know,
about?"
I'm like,
They're
are they
not
gonna-
watching.
are they
If they're
gonna
watching,
get
they
it?
could see it, but listening, nope. They're like, "I don't know what we're talking about."
That's so funny.
Okay. So we got a little bit of a background. So you work in cosmetology and eyelashes and all that.
Yep.
So we thought we'd bring you on here. This would be a perfect person to talk about the idea of anti-aging.
Mm-hmm.
Why has it become so popular? I found this stat that was interesting about anti-aging market. That globally, say it's about this was in 2021, $62 billion industry.
Oh, yeah.
And by 2027, so we're halfway there, it was expected to grow to about $93 billion industry, globally speaking.
Yeah.
That's huge, and it's just growing, which tells you that the trend is moving in the direction of more and more people are working on trying to look younger and younger.
Yep.
And I want to say that this fascination with youth is not even a new thing. It feels like it is, but it's not. Like, I was looking this up. I mean, we've all heard the story of Ponce de Leon, who was the explorer that came over from Spain. And supposedly the primary thing was looking for the fountain of youth that they got tipped off was this, I think this pool's called Bimini that was near the Bahamas. But anyway, so he lands in Florida. So there's a lot known about Ponce de Leon landing in Florida. But he was really searching for the fountain of youth. And that's an idea that has kind of made its way from 5th century BC. There's writings of it, and even all throughout, where there's this talking about this idea of certain pools of water you get into, and it makes your skin look which there probably are pools of water, especially in ancient times, that people went into that had all kinds of minerals and things in that probably made their skin feel smooth, maybe look better. And so all of a sudden it's magical because we don't know the science behind it.
Right.
You know, and so there's been this fascination for mystical ways of making yourself look younger.
Yeah.
That have turned into scientific ways of making yourself look younger. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, it is, there's even Asian cultures, stories of dynasties, kind of talking about Ponce de Leon. It's funny, when I was growing up, they would go to St. Augustine, and I would tell my parents, can we please go by the Fountain of Youth?
Oh, my gosh.
Because isn't that where? It's in St. Augustine.
Yep,
like,
that's
on the way to Disney World, we'd stop it there, and I would just look for it. I'd
They
be
do.
like looking over the hills, like, where's Fountain of Youth? But it is crazy. Like, I was telling you, a couple years ago, I've started several book projects I haven't finished, but one of them was a book I want to do called Growing Young.
Oh, I like that.
And the trajectory was going to be, and who knows, maybe one day I'll finish it, but the trajectory was going to be going towards what are the attributes that keep you childlike in spirit. But I wanted to study like the contrast of that when the anti-aging beauty industry, and even just historically, your story about Ponce de Leon reminded me, there were literally Asian dynasties where they would send hundreds of thousands of soldiers to die on the quest to find elixirs, because there's always been that hope that there's a key to unlock it. And it's just a fascinating quest that everybody's been on. And nowadays, I'm curious your thoughts on it, because nowadays I feel like there's several like ways you can go. There's the anti-aging industry. Then there's like the science coming out. Another reason, here's the reason I originally thought you brought up, there's all these articles now about how like science feels like they've found ways to reverse aging. I read like Tony Robbins' book a couple years ago. He had this whole thing on like the cutting edge science of how to reverse aging, beauty. So how deep do you dive into all that?
Well, that's a loaded question. I guess I would say a little bit deeper than someone else, because TikTok is something where you can just like get lost on when it comes to like the physical things that we can do to help get away wrinkles. And I'm all into the skincare and all the anti-aging creams that you wear. And so I guess that's as far as I go. I wouldn't say I go, I'm not going to the Fountain of Youth and whatnot, but I'm an open book when it comes to all that stuff.
Okay, but it's not just skincare treatments and that. You've done eyelashes.
Yes, I wouldn't say that's anti-aging, though.
Yes,
that's more so
that's
like
more of just beauty and
enhancement. Yeah.
So let's put it all together, anti-aging and beauty. That's fine. I think we can, for this conversation, we'll lump it together. But you're right. Those are like beauty enhancements. I have a list. I went and found this. Okay, I want to read some of these. I have a list of procedures that you can do to look younger.
Okay.
So I'll just say any of them.
And
if you're familiar with any of them, or if you've done any of them.
Okay.
Same with you. I'm just curious which ones of these you've done.
Right. Oh, I would love to know.
Oh, no.
I don't know. That's not. It's probably
just
okay. Injectable filler.
Oh, please. Yes. So you can get.
Well, she just. Oh, yes. Like, who hasn't? Okay.
No,
tell me about this.
Well, there are a lot of people are afraid to talk about it because it's such a taboo thing.
Okay.
So you can get injectable fillers put pretty much anywhere in your body.
Okay.
The most common places people get filler injected are like your lips or your cheeks or like your under eyes, because
for the bags, does that help fill them up if you have bags?
Yep. And so I have done lip filler.
Okay. You've done lip filler?
Yes, but I have a it's not, I don't want to say it's a story. It never works on me for some reason. You spend a couple $100s to do it.
Okay.
And then for me, I just metabolize it. So that's something that never stayed for me.
So it doesn't, none of it stays?
It's
temporary?
not on me. No, it does stay. It's
really?
supposed to dissolve over time. Any type of filler, the FDA says that, their drug trials, it lasts about a year per se. A year to 18 months.
What is it?
It is like a, oh gosh.
It's not collagen, is it?
No,
Like,
it is, it's
Isn't it like a protein?
something. It's something we make in our body that your body breaks down over time per se. It's not like silicone, because that's deadly.
It's not synthetic.
Exactly.
You're saying that it's natural in a way.
But there is major risks with fillers. So, it is something that people need to research and go to somebody good. But fillers are one of those things where you really don't need fillers unless you're in your, say 30s, 40s. You're starting to see changes, your natural fat.
So what's going to happen to your lips when you get to your 30s
so
and 40s?
because they're gone, essentially. Like, this is me naturally. Like I was saying, it never lasted on me. But if I was somebody who got consistent lip filler every year, because it breaks down and you're not stretching your lips to be like the dude on Monsters Inc. when he gets his freaking lips sucked in that thing. So I would say they might look a little less full if you just completely stop, but your body just kind of shrinks back up. Like after you have a baby, your skin kind of goes back. So nothing really happens per se.
Okay. So and you told me you were getting injectable fillers in your arms because you wanted your around your biceps, didn't you? Say
I kind of believe you would do that.
Me too. Okay, sorry.
Listen,
we'll move on.
it's all natural.
Yeah. Okay. Botox.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yes, I do Botox. But I don't pay for my Botox.
I haven't seen your forehead move yet.
I know. I'm trying really, really hard.
Are you really?
So, like I said, I am trying right now.
If you're watching, okay. Yeah, a little bit, but okay.
So, I started getting Botox when I was 21 years old. Gosh. Not for wrinkle purposes.
It's preventative.
Not even for that.
Really?
So, if you have debilitating migraines or headaches, Botox treats those things.
Really?
Yes. So at 21 years old, I started going to a local clinic here at Diley Ridge Medical Center, and they bill your insurance. Not only do they inject the whole back of your skull and all your muscles, in your trap muscles. If you have a lot of trap tension and a lot of aches and pains in your neck, Botox helps with that. So anyway, along with them injecting the whole back of my skull, they do sort of inject your frontalis muscle, which helps with headaches, but it also comes with the benefits of anti-aging. So when I tell people, I've been getting Botox since I was 21 years old, they're immediately like, why do you need Botox? Well, it was mainly for migraines, and now I'm just
Did it help
obsessed
with migraines?
with it. It does, yeah. There's so many testimonies and clinical studies to show that it really does.
Really?
Yeah. It's really insane.
I got a friend
and
who's
insurance
a pastor,
covers it.
and he's, and he gets migraines that are pretty bad, debilitating. I should tell him, you need Botox.
Yeah.
I'll just tell him, your forehead you got lines you need to know. So that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so you still get it fairly often?
I would say I spread mine out a little bit more than an average person, just because unlike lip filler, I actually retain Botox well, and I don't need to get it often. So I'd say I go every 4 to 5 months or so. And again, I don't pay $1.
And that's awesome. That's big because it's hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, and would I do it if I didn't get it for free through my insurance technically? Probably not as often. But, once you start doing something like that, it's really, really hard to stop because you feel so great about yourself.
Okay, so I have a little caveat to this. I'm curious. Do you know who, if I get her name right, Bobby Altoff is?
I do not, sorry.
Okay, so anyways, she's this
influencer,
kind of
comedian.
She interviews people, and she's gotten popular because she interviews people. That's what I would say. That's her skill.
It's like her shtick.
She has a shtick when she interviews people. She's on social media.
Okay.
She's very dry.
I'll look her up.
Funny.
Yeah, she's kind of dry and funny. Her interviews are funny. I think it's she has this shtick, so when you interviews people, it's pretty good. But she got I follow her on Instagram, and she got people like, why do you follow her on Instagram? Well, because if you see her interviews, they're hilarious. And so she got Botox for the first time a while back. She's in her 20s, and she has had the worst experience ever with it.
Oh no!
her face, because she had it, I think, done in places like her face just so
Droop
paralyzed,
and-
it drooped, it did other things.
Yep.
Then it kind of eventually somewhat came back. This is months later. She's like, it's supposed to have worn off. It hasn't worn off in certain places. She's like,
Wow.
when I smile, my chin does weird things. It still doesn't. She was literally, she posted a story on there and she was like, do not ever put needles in your face.
Yeah. I think that just shows how important it is to go to somebody or a facility that really knows what they're doing and does a really thorough consult, because unfortunately, like with everything that you do that's not natural, there are risks. Yeah.
So you have to be, I think what I wanted to bring out was, even as we talk about some of these things, there are risks in doing those.
Oh,
so as much as
absolutely.
like this is cool and you do
Yeah.
this, there are some people that have adverse reactions to things and
Yes.
they don't work right. And
Yep.
so it's just something to consider. But you don't get Botox yet.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
I don't either, but I need it. Eyelid surgery.
Blepharoplasty is what it's called technically.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why do people get eyelid surgery? It's drooping?
Yeah.
Like on the top?
Yeah, exactly. So if you as you age, your eyes become more hooded and you lose like the fat that keeps your eyes lifted and whatnot.
Okay.
I have obviously not done any surgical surgeries.
Well, you're only 26.
Yeah. But you have to be honest throughout it all. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I've learned and I know a lot about that because, like I said, TikTok is just answers all my
You
questions.
learned it from TikTok, not from cosmetology school.
Oh no, none of these things that we're
You
talking
don't
about.
talk about cosmetology.
Oh no, this is like medical
Yeah,
school.
no, a lot of
but-
these are. You're right.
Yes.
All these are
Yes.
medical. So neck lift, we can go a little faster.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't imagine you've done those.
No.
Focused ultrasound. Isn't that like ultrasound technology? They're using sound waves and
To,
stuff
like,
on the
tighten
skin,
your
on your face,
collagen?
maybe to tighten
Yeah,
things.
I think that's what
probably-
that is.
Facial rejuvenation.
I haven't done like any actual procedures like that, but I would consider like medical grade skincare a form of like facial rejuvenation.
I think they might have had some of that on there. Have you done any medical grade skincare?
Yeah, I use tretinoin like 2 times a week. It's good for acne. It's good for just getting your face to cycle out and basically flake off your dead skin quicker than what it
Yeah.
normally would.
Do
So
you have to get a prescription for that?
you do,
You
but
do.
it's just super easy thing.
yeah.
It's like $20.
Okay. Radio frequency skin tightening.
Mm.
Again, now we're going from ultrasound to using radio frequency to
Yeah.
do this. That's crazy. Cheek lifts, chemical peel. Probably not.
No.
Is that same thing, but it's
That's-
peeling off a layer of.
Yeah, it's like a lot more intense. People my
Yeah.
age do it all the time.
Do they really?
I just really, I'm out and about so much. I don't have time to be
Is that-
inside for like a week to recover.
Is that when? Oh, so it takes recovery. Is that when
Oh,
people get
yeah.
stuff done? I've seen that's not the same thing as the laser stuff. This is literally like you're probably putting
yeah,
on a peel that's taking
it's not
off
as
of,
intense as like a laser treatment. A laser is literally like burning your skin off.
Yeah.
It sounds so horrific, but the results are truly insane. They're
Really?
great. A chemical peel is a little less than that.
Okay.
Yeah, less downtime, but still you don't want to be like out and about for like at
Really?
least 5 days or so.
You-
yeah.
You can't be out and about for 5
You
days.
can't be in the sun when your skin
That's
is
what
like that
I was gonna say,
vulnerable.
that's
yeah.
what I was gonna say,
Yep.
son.
Wow.
Collagen induction therapy.
I haven't done any of that. Not really familiar with that.
No, I'm not. Microdermabrasion. That's
No,
again, when
but
that
that's
the
kind of-
skin, isn't that
yeah,
to,
it's kind
to
of like
irritate or to
Yeah.
to your
microneedling and
Microneedle.
microdermabrasion are like super similar, and that's when
Okay.
they think of like a big tattoo gun with like a
Yep.
bunch of needles,
that's
and
what
they
I was gonna
take it
think.
across
Makes
your
crush it.
face, and it makes little micro tears. And what it does is it like signals your skin and the cells
you.
to regrow collagen to have a more youthful, tightened, smaller pores, all that. A lot of people do that too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Those are. I've seen people where I feel like they've had procedures done and their face will look really red.
Yes,
Right,
that's
because
exactly
you're
what
literally
that is.
rubbing it
Do
kind of
they
raw.
Yeah.
ever do that to treat acne?
Yes, they not open current
open sores,
acne,
yeah.
but scarring, any type of like texturization or wrinkles. It helps with deep set wrinkles if you don't want to do a Botox or something. But yeah, people do it for many reasons.
Because it probably wasn't that. But when I was in 9th grade, I had like, for 1 year, I had like really bad acne.
Yeah.
So they sent me like where my buddy's parents at their shop where they had a salon. They had an esthetician. And so I remember like for 3 months, I would go in once a week. And I mean, she would I feel like my skin, I don't know what she did.
Really?
But I mean, I just felt like it was burning off. And then it was like, what was it that was so popular for a while? Pro.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? It was like,
the one they
Am I
would
too
sell.
young for
They would
this?
sell. That was
Maybe.
probably older. They would sell something like that on infomercials.
yes,
I know what you're
I
talking
did that.
about.
Oh my gosh, it was so painful.
Yeah.
Ironically, when I
They show
stopped,
all these people. This is before and after, and it looks so great. I know a ton of people that bought it, and it just didn't work. But
oh yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Platelet-rich plasma. Where would you put that?
PRP.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
PRP
So
is-
you can pair a platelet-rich plasma facial with microneedling. So basically,
For
what
injecting.
they do, they draw your blood out of your arm, and then they spin it down, and they separate your red blood cells from your platelet-rich plasma. Then after they microneedle your face, they do like a plasma facial with your own plasma cells,
Yeah.
and it's supposedly better. I don't know.
healing agent.
Yeah, that is something I do want to do in the future when I'm starting to see like significant aging, but it's just not something I feel like
Like
I
probably
want to.
like you got at least 3 or 4 more years. Is that what you mean? I'm just kidding.
I don't know, probably like
Si-
10.
Significant aging.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheek implants, obviously no.
yep.
Injection. It could be, I guess, anything.
Yeah, and Botox. Yeah.
Wrinkle treatment. I don't know.
I would
Isn't a
say
lot of this
wrinkle.
wrinkle treatment.
Say it again.
Wouldn't Botox
Yeah,
and all those
yeah,
be wrinkle
yeah, yeah,
treatments?
yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Hydrofacial.
I've
That's
done
using
that.
water.
Yeah. So basically, it's just a normal facial, but they use like a little machine that like squirts water into your pores and then sucks the water out, so it like cleans your pores super deeply. That's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, and that's not like a.
So how much does that cost?
A hydrofacial is typically like $250.
Okay.
Yeah.
250.
And I should do facials a lot more, but I'm like a
Yeah.
I'm like a twice a year kind of girl. So, yeah.
You can see real fast because all of these procedures, especially the real,
Oh, yeah.
they're hundreds
Yeah.
is at the bottom almost.
Yeah.
I bet.
But I do believe that if you're doing a good skincare regimen at home,
Yeah.
you can opt out from doing all of these things. Obviously, genetics play a huge part into how you age and how your skin is, but you don't need any of this stuff as long as
Yeah.
you invest in a good skincare.
Okay,
So,
that's good. Facelift, that's obviously pretty
yeah.
serious.
Yep,
Man,
we're
I
good on
just-
that.
I would-
do you
but
have
I
like
just like looking
$30,000?
back. Yeah, I've
$30,000.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
major procedure. It would be worse than that. Even if I had the money, if you've ever seen any video of stuff, the
recovery.
recovery. I mean, they literally go up along your hairline, right? Cut your
Yeah,
skin, your
tighten
face,
your neck muscles.
pull it down.
They flip
roll
it back.
the layer of skin down, and then address the fat and tight, and then pull it back up tight, and then I mean, so you're talking about.
I'm impressed you know this. That's
Understand
kind
your
of cool.
hairline literally like just sutures it all back up and around like I'm telling you,
It's intense.
it's no way.
Wow.
No way. Laser resurfacing, which
Never done that.
But
But,
that-
that's
Oh,
a common
Hannah,
facial.
you know, proactive. That was
Oh,
it.
Proactive, yeah.
I'm not too young for
yeah,
that.
proactive.
Yeah.
Proactive.
Okay.
She's actually okay. That's good.
That's funny.
Laser resurfacing, so probably resurface again your face
Yep,
probably with
yep.
laser. Brow lift.
Never had a brow lift.
So that's
but
also surgical.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that you-
So, okay, let's talk about non-surgical brow lift versus surgical brow lift. So you can get a quote-unquote non-surgical brow lift just by injecting Botox in your 11s. Basically, it if you're not going to be moving your forehead as much, your eyebrows do kind of lift up a little bit, but that's not really a huge improvement. So I guess I would say I get a non-surgical brow lift by just getting Botox. Your eyes look a little more open. But what I have done with my eyebrows is I have permanent tattooing on my eyebrows.
Who
Yeah.
else? I was just talking to somebody else, and I said, "Do you have any tattoos?" And they said, "Oh,
Just my eyebrows."
I better not tell you who it was. It was a staff member, and she goes, "Oh, just my eyebrows."
Yeah, it's super
No.
trendy, super common. But I will say I did
So wait,
just try to get them
okay,
removed.
but you have hair on your eyebrows.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's tattooed underneath your hair.
Exactly.
So it makes
Was
it
it
look
matte?
solid. Yeah.
It's a different
kind
kinda-
of tray. No, he was asking.
Oh, I
who
thought you
on the
said
staff.
matte.
It
I was
a
like, the
woman.
color? Is it
No.
a matte color?
So-
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it doesn't mean you don't have hair,
Right.
but you tattoo underneath. And so,
So
what
I
does it
never
do?
have to fill them in. So essentially, people who don't have brow hair, it's great for them because then they can walk around and look like they have eyebrow, tattooing or actual eyebrows. For me, like growing up, the trends have always been like you want to fill in your brows, you look more
Yeah, your
youthful
brow
when you have
brushes,
thicker.
right?
Yeah, that kind of thing. You laminate them. So what was it like maybe 4 or 5 years ago? I was like, oh, I'm gonna do. It's called powder brows. So it's not like your typical tattoo where it goes like 8 layers deep in your
Okay.
skin. It's kind of more at the surface. They say it's supposed to fade out over a couple years.
Okay.
Mine never did, and I actually have been trying to do sessions to remove them because again, I'm on like my more natural girl.
Wait,
I'm
you're
never
trying to
giving up.
remove your tattoo on your eyebrows?
I already did it one time, and I don't think I'm gonna do it. Well, I've done it 2 times. The last time was so painful.
Laser?
I didn't do a laser. I did a saline removal. So it's kind of like the same process. They use a tattoo gun, but they're using like a saline removal to break up the pigment. The laser, I don't really want to walk around with no eyebrows per se, and that's like super, super painful and kind of expensive. So I was just going the more like non-invasive route, but I'm kind of happy. They have lightened and whatnot. But yeah, so I have done.
They look good. They look natural.
Thanks. I think they look natural.
I probably wouldn't be able to tell. I didn't know
yeah.
that you had
yeah,
that.
and I agree. I don't think they're bad at all. I was just like, why do I have a tattoo on my face? Like, this is so weird. Like, it was so trendy a couple years ago, and now I'm like, this is weird.
Russ was actually telling me that he was probably going to get a teardrop on his face.
Oh,
so we're all might do
that's
that
pretty
too.
cool.
So, brow lift, rhinoplasty, nose
that's
job.
A nose job.
Yeah, dermaplaning.
Oh yeah, dermaplane at home like every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, so dermaplaning.
I do too. I didn't know if you did, so I just. How do you dermaplane?
You dermaplane?
Yeah, just how do you dermaplane? You tell me how you do it, though. I want to know.
Okay, so.
I told him dermaplane.
Okay,
I'm sorry, he doesn't recognize my sarcasm.
Wait, no, hold on. You do technically dermaplane your face when you're shaving it.
Oh, yes. So I.
That's a dermaplane.
Yeah, I do
That's
it all
why
the time.
That's why I believe you.
I do it like 6 to 7 days a week. He does it like once every 3 weeks.
I could dermaplane you, Russ.
Let
me give you a facial.
Oh.
Is that gonna be part 2?
Yeah.
Podcast
Come,
part
she's gonna
2.
get facials. Okay, so
anyway.
So what is it?
Okay, so dermaplaning is basically just a way to exfoliate your face at home, aka like shaving your face. And you would think like, why would a woman want to shave her face?
Women have to shave their mustaches and their beards all the time. Now, I've
exactly.
seen the
all the peach
razors.
fuzz.
I know what they are.
Yes, exactly.
They're
little. I know.
I've been
you're
with
a girl
women
dad.
for a long time.
Yep.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
married and have girls, so
Yep.
I'm aware of these
So
things.
dermaplaning is just a glorified way of saying you're taking a little baby razor and shaving off your peach fuzz. Your makeup goes on better, helps you get rid of dead skin.
So how you do it a couple times a week?
No, like every 2 weeks. Cause
Every
like
2 weeks.
yeah, you want to wait till like your little peach fuzz grows back a little bit. So it's like.
So the old adage. I feel like this isn't true, but when you're young and you're a guy. And you don't really have much to shave, but then you're like, but if you start shaving, it'll come in thicker.
Yes.
So then guys start shaving because they want their hair to come in thicker. It's not true. Is it a myth?
So it's a huge myth.
That's what I
because the only reason why people think that it comes in thicker and darker per se is because you're causing the hair to be cut at a blunt angle. So when it comes in, it's not like an actual like tapered natural the way like a actual hair strand would look.
Okay.
So it may appear
Okay.
more thicker, but it's literally not a myth. I mean, you're born with the amount of hair follicles you have. You don't just like wake up and like gain more hair follicles. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So do you dermaplane?
No, but I need. Well,
But you shave your
you
face.
I
do.
shave my face.
Yeah.
so
you
you
just
dermaplane.
you don't shave up
You don't
here.
like
Yeah.
go like? Do you shave in between your unibrow?
So
I
when,
don't, but I don't really have this. But some people do. I mean,
so
I
I've
don't
never
get
really
too
had
much.
of a unibrow, but shout out to Micah. Whenever he
gets
cuts
you
my hair,
right.
he's just that's part of his
He does
routine.
it?
Is he always?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so intense pulse light.
Yeah, I would assume that's maybe like red light therapy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
That's something you can do at home too. Super easy peasy.
Yeah.
I don't do that, but
Buttock augmentation. So that's a butt lift.
well, I wish I had that. I wish I had the money for it. That's why we are in the gym, right?
Okay, there you go. And then just skincare products. So that was just
Yeah.
a list of some that are on there, and you have done. I was really surprised, but you've done a lot of those, and I'm sure a lot of people have.
Yeah. Oh
a lot
yeah.
of women.
That's why I'm open to sharing.
I
'cause,
love that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do this.
Okay, so let's go from the surface of beauty to down a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And let's ask this question. So I asked you before, and you were like, "Yeah, I can talk about it. I love that." And I said, "Okay, great." So let's ask you the question: why?
I knew you were gonna ask me this.
Why do you, at 26 years old, who do not have any wrinkles, and you're young, and in this, why do you think? And so this can be you, but it also
Right.
can be just the industry. Why do you think that it has moved from being this thing that only, I would say, an upper class, older person could afford and would do,
Right.
to now has transitioned to like the masses and 20-year-olds?
Yeah. I would say just the culture influence for me.
Okay.
And if I wasn't in the beauty industry, I guarantee you I would not feel the pressure of having to uphold a certain physical appearance, because in my industry, in my business, I market myself by having good hair and having like pretty skin and pretty eyebrows and pretty eyelashes. So for me in particular, I would say it more comes from what I work in. And a lot of that is social media too. It's like everybody is doing it. And like you said, it's just getting younger and younger and younger. Do I feel like I have to do those things to be beautiful? Absolutely not. Like I said, I get my Botox through my insurance. It's a great perk. Would I do it if not? Probably not as often. But I feel like where things can get messy is that if you're chasing perfection and you're not fulfilled, like if you do one thing and you're like, oh, well, now I have to address my bag eyes, or I really hate my hairline and all this, and you're just constantly chasing perfection. I think that's where you know, it can go wrong per se. But I don't think there's anything wrong with making minor changes or highlighting your hair, covering your grays, getting your hair cut every week just to feel better about yourself, you know. So that's
I agree. I guess I want to balanced. I want to say, I think all of us at the table, you would probably agree. I don't think it's wrong to do these things or to get procedures done to make your skin look this. I wouldn't have any problem if somebody wanted to go get a facelift and they had a bunch of money to do it.
Right.
I think my mom, she probably hate me saying this, but I think my mom did some type of lift, and as she was older, but it wasn't just purely cosmetic. She had a procedure that she did that helped her lose weight.
Oh, like a gastric bypass.
Something like that. I don't remember which one it was.
So she was left with a lot of loose skin.
So, man, you find out real fast when you lose weight. I found out when I lost 30 pounds in 2021, I was like, overnight, I look so much older.
Yes.
And so my skin's and when you get older, your skin doesn't have the elasticity that it does when you're younger. It doesn't have much water and things in it, so it doesn't stretch. It doesn't form back. And so it wasn't like, I wanted to say this, like it wasn't a vanity thing. It was more of like in response to losing that weight and having extra skin in it makes you look older.
It probably affected her daily life too, especially if it was
And so I understand that. So I just want to say, I'm not opposed to any of it. Like, man, I'll tell you what, if I could get this lifted just a little bit like this, I would do it if it wasn't so painful or expensive. But I think
painful? I wouldn't say painful.
A lift? Botox maybe not, but like a lift. I'm like, no, the whole thing would be awesome. Look at that. Look how much younger I'm looking. Isn't that good? I'm holding for those who are listening again, I'm pulling my skin back a little bit. No, I think the fascinating part for me that I wanted to talk about was that, like you said, there's a pressure. I like the way you said that. It's not just I want to look or feel pretty or beautiful or whatever it is, guys, girls, same thing. You think that, how much of it you think is a pressure to chase perfection versus people doing things because they don't feel beautiful or they feel like they need to be beautiful?
That's a hard one. I would probably say it's like 50-50, honestly. For me, I know that I'm beautiful and that I'm loved and I don't need to do those things, but like it's all around me in the industry I'm in. Like if you're not doing those things, like I have client after client like, hey, I just got my Botox this week. When's your appointment? You know, it's always around me. So once you kind of start dabbling into that, like, oh, really good skincare. Oh, I got to get my Botox. It's like you really just like the benefits of it, and it's like, why stop? You know?
Well, if you see improvements, I want to say what you perceive as improvements. So, you know, we look at ourselves in the mirror every day. We see certain things. You go have a procedure. You have something done. Next thing you know, you look in the mirror, you go, oh, I like the way that looks.
Yeah.
Then you're going to go, well, what else can I adjust?
That's why it's dangerous.
And do it. And so, like you said, once you get started, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
And it can become addictive. And but you think cultural influence. Now, I think it makes sense that you work in the beauty industry, and so you are inundated with it, and the people you're trying to reach are in that pursuit.
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel like I have to present myself in a certain way.
Yep.
I get that. It's like, that'd be like a fitness trainer who's 50 pounds overweight. It's like, come with me and work out, lose that weight. And you're like, why don't you lose that weight first and show me you can, right? You're never going to follow someone like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's got such a broad approach that it's not just people who are in the industry.
Right.
I feel like everyone, especially I want to say, I don't know if this seems sexist to say, but I think women, there is another layer of pressure.
No, I would agree with you.
Would you agree? To be beautiful. It's like we expect guys to be handsome and strong, but guys don't do all these treatments typically. They're
Yep.
not putting on makeup, and that's
Yep.
acceptable.
Yep.
A lot of women don't feel like they can even go out of the house without wearing makeup. It's not acceptable. I'm not
Right.
done.
Right.
And you think that's mostly cultural influences that are kind of, you think that
Yeah,
probably affect?
yeah. I do, and I just feel like, yeah, I would agree with you on that.
So what kind of things do you think in our culture push this, intentionally or unintentionally, push this idea of you need to, here's what I guess is the overall message that I'm wondering. You need to look young to be beautiful.
Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah, is that her song?
That is, isn't
Young
it?
and Beautiful. Will you still love me when I'm not young and beautiful?
Like what I'm
I love
saying
that
is,
song.
I
That's
think
such a good song.
culturally it feels like we've put those together. This is
Yeah.
where I kind of like wanted to go, is that wrong?
I think it just goes back to like how we were created. Like when you're young and you're more youthful, you're more what's the word I'm looking for? Fertile per se. And like I think it's just an instinctive thing that us humans are more attracted to. Like obviously as a woman ages, she's not as fertile. She's not as able to care for her family and whatnot. So I feel like instinctively we kind of connect those two things. But I really think it's just a made up thing. I feel like it's just society nowadays. I mean, like you said, the medical industry, the all the procedures you can do, it's so expensive. It's such a highly fruitful market. So I just feel like if everybody's doing it and this is what society says is how you're beautiful, then people get pulled into that.
Yeah.
So
Kayla, listening to you talk, the image that kind of comes to my mind, and you can tell me if you agree or not, is because I love what you said. I actually think you're really onto it. I believe we were made to live forever.
yeah.
And so the aging process is, I know. The aging process is something that I believe happened in Genesis 3. And so we've been decaying and dying ever since. And there is something in us that constantly longs for youth. It's been in our DNA.
Yeah.
And it's how we're wired, how we're designed. Would you say that the image that comes to my mind is, so there's that natural instinct in us that longs to be young, but then the growing pressure from social media and the industry and what's held up in magazines is this is what it means to be beautiful. This is what it means. This is the current, because it changes in every generation, even every century. You look back, what was attractive for a French woman in the 1600s is drastically different.
Pale.
Yeah.
Yes, pale.
Pale is beautiful. So we tell
heavier
our
set.
daughter all the
Right.
time. She's paler.
Yeah.
And she's kind of adopted that.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of come back a little bit about don't
But-
ever tan and all this. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But I
I'm
think
a
you
fake
have
tan
the-
for life, girl.
I think you have the combination of this is the way we're designed and wired, and then you combine that with the pressure societally.
Yeah.
But then I think the third ingredient in the mix is what's going on inside of a person.
Absolutely.
Because you just said something, even in passing a minute ago, that I'm like, oh, that's really good. Is you said, I already know my value. I already know what I'm worth. I don't need all that
Right.
to feel beautiful. I actually believe that you have an inner strength and an inner confidence apart from that. And to me, what seems the tragedy is when people address things from the outside in instead of the inside out.
Right.
What I hear you say is, I already from the inside out know who I am.
Yeah.
And so if I add this because of my profession, because I'm into it, that's great. But I already know who I am inside. I think what's heartbreaking on the extreme side is what you see when people just have an emptiness inside.
Yes.
And they had tried to address the emptiness inside with decorating the outside,
Oh yeah.
adapting the outside, changing the outside. And it's that heartbreaking scenario in which there's no amount of rearranging on the outside that can fill an emptiness inside.
Right.
And that's where I wonder, like, how do you, because I mean, there's all these conversations going on right now about beauty enhancement. And there's also all these conversations going on. We were talking to a staff member whose wife right now is reading a book on body image. So it's almost like, I'm curious your thoughts, like how do you balance out a healthy investment in yourself with, and it looks different for everybody,
Right.
without making sure you don't trigger body image issues or fall into,
Right.
it does seem like it could be a dangerous treadmill to go down.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was saying. It's like once you stop or once you start, how can you stop? And I think it just comes down to the intention of why you're doing it in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
Like we said before, I don't think there's anything wrong with us getting rid of our, wrinkles and whatnot,
Yeah.
because everybody's doing it. But if you are not fulfilled in other areas and you're chasing perfection, that's not something that you can just dabble in and expect it to solve your problems, because it's always going to be another thing and then another thing. Oh, I'm not skinny enough. Oh, I'm not strong enough, or my acne's terrible. It's just, you can't start doing something like that when your heart is not, it doesn't have the right intention. You know?
Then you'll never be content with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is a plague, is when you don't feel content with yourself.
Yeah.
With who you are. It's
Do you think, but let's be honest though, all of us, I think, I mean, maybe there are some people that are classified as the most beautiful people in the world, but I imagine even them, when they look in the mirror, there's something they don't like.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's like, I feel like we all do that. We look in the mirror
100%.
like, gosh, I just hate my nose is this, or my hair is this, or I wish it was full over here, or you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
that's the hard thing, is that we and pick ourselves apart.
Yes.
But I don't think we realize that it's because I think what has been propped in front of us as perfection, we never measure up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what we have had, media has propped in front of us what is perfection. When you think about it, magazine covers, and how often do you think you're looking at a magazine cover that hasn't been touched up?
Oh, yeah.
They're edited. I mean, you find out about them later. You find out. I mean, there's been celebrities who've gone out there and go, hey, here's the picture that they posted. I love the truly honest ones. They're like, that's not what it looked like. This is what it looked like. And they're like, look at my wrinkles. Look at this. They photoshopped this. They made me look a certain way.
I think what I've learned, because, you know, now that I have 2 children, I like to feel like, you know, I'm older and I'm more wiser than I was years ago. But the truth is, like, I'm still learning, and I feel like in the last couple of years, I really started to realize like what the true definition of beauty really is. And I've also realized that the media, they purposefully want to make us insecure. They purposefully want us to question like, what's inside does not make me beautiful. It's what's on the outside that makes me pretty. And so I think that that's where a lot of like young women, specifically like myself when I was younger, really can get trapped and lost and start to question so many things about them. And it's and like I've said so many times throughout this podcast, it's like, everyone's doing it, why not do it? And I think that's really dangerous. And so that's kind of my
No, I
thought on
love that. People don't talk enough about even if somebody were to deem attractiveness as a superficial element. Even science shows there are so many things beyond what you would do on the outside that make someone attractive. Joy.
Yeah.
Joy makes people attractive.
Yep.
Like when someone is naturally joyful,
Makes you sexy.
well, thank you. I feel uncomfortable, but thank you. I receive it, but you know, like joy, kindness. There's so many like stats on security and confidence. Like, I mean, I have this theory. The reason sometimes people will, and usually the stereotype is women with guys, but I think in general, the reason sometimes people will pick jerks for a partner is because it's the closest version they can get to an unhealthy side of confidence.
Wow.
Because somebody wants somebody strong, but usually people are either really insecure or really arrogant.
Right.
And so if you don't have a healthily confident person,
that is
people will choose. But there are so many things. I put this in something I was writing recently, but John Maxwell, leadership guru, he was really concerned because he knew as his influence grew that he was going to be taking pictures of videos in front of people. And he's like, man, have you seen my mug? He was like, I don't think I'm that attractive. And then he saw like this article on smiling. So he's like, I'm just going to spend the rest of my life smiling. But so there's so many things, but then the deeper things, you know, not to get all spiritual, but biblically it says like the qualities of inner beauty that make someone beautiful, you know, that charm can be deceptive, beauty is fleeting, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Like, I think there's so many things that we skip over that actually make the totality of who we are beautiful.
Absolutely.
You know,
it's true. Well, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I was curious because we're talking about all these different influences and everything's been photoshopped and today and kind of edited. I think we are given an edited version of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, big one, filters on every side. I mean, I got to be honest now, like even just people on Instagram follow and they get on there and they make their videos. And I look, because half of them, they're like, man, look, I look up in the corner. You know, you look up and I'm like, oh, you have a filter.
Yes.
I I've
Is it
kind
an
of
ick?
I've kind of become judgmental.
So
I'm like
basically, I won't use filters anymore.
I'm just like, no, I just
Oh, do
I,
you use filters?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, I use the subtle ones,
The
yeah,
subtle ones.
because I
But
agree
why?
with you.
Why do you do it? Because it smooths everything out.
No,
Makes
not
you look good
not
on
even
video?
my physical appearance at all.
Okay.
I just like if you were to post a picture,
Yeah.
you like to put a preset on it, right? Even if it's of like a
Sure,
landscape,
sure.
it just makes things look prettier.
Yeah.
It's more eye catching, you know. But it is like a huge ick of mine, and if people don't know what an ick is, it's just like
Yeah.
something that like
Turn you off, like
bothers
gross,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it is an ick when you.
You have to watch this episode
Yeah.
to get all the facial things. It's so beautiful. Ick. Ah, yeah, I love it.
That
So
was
good.
great.
Oh man.
So it's an ick of yours. Why?
Yes. Because it, and I don't know if this is like too blunt to say, but it just, it automatically tells me like you have an internal problem like with yourself. Like, why can't you just be yourself?
I'm telling that I kind of feel the same way. I'm looking on. I'm going. Why do you have to
Yeah.
pick these filters to look a certain
Right.
way?
Right.
What's like? What are you trying to portray
Yeah.
to the world? Like, just
so
be you on video.
I'm very selective with the filters I
Yeah.
choose because I don't want ones that change my
Yeah.
appearance per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some that kind of like enhance your,
the color and the lighting.
yeah, like, you know, it just makes you
Yeah.
look more bright and vibrant, you know?
I think I got some practical questions. We're coming at an hour, so
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
we'll have to land the plane in a minute.
Okay.
Got some practical questions I want to ask you, but
Okay.
you know, I think this is such a powerful topic. Number one, because people in culture talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
but number two, I think so many times, you know, even in faith circles, we go on extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like we demonize things,
Right.
or we think it's superficial at all to invest in
Yeah.
how you look.
Yes.
Or it's funny. I heard Stephen Furtick on one of the podcasts recently. He's like, I never cared how I dressed, and then I realized, oh dear God, people are having to stare at me for 45 minutes.
Oh my
He was
God.
like, I ought to
Most
like
dreadful time of the
make it
week,
not
Saturday night.
horrible to look at me. You know?
Yes.
And I'm like, I never really thought of it like that. But, and so I think there's always a balance. Like,
Yep.
in Paul told Timothy in the New Testament, there's this verse, I don't know why, but I always remember it in the KJV.
Yeah.
Bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness has great gain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you take that out of context to an extreme, you can say, well, exercise doesn't matter, except we know it matters immensely.
Right.
Your physical health is connected to your mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. I mean, the benefits of exercise with depression, and I mean, it's endless. But I think what he's saying is, in comparison to the exercise you should apply to grow your character,
Right.
to grow your spiritual man or woman, to grow who you are becoming as a person, that should even eclipse
Yep.
the time you spend in the gym. It's like, okay, I think the same thing can apply to how we present ourselves and invest in ourselves and care for our skin. You know, there's scriptures that warn about vanity, obviously. There's scriptures that warn about, you know, again, narcissism, beauty's fleeting. So, but at the same time, I mean, you have in Proverbs and Ecclesiastes where it says life is short, so dress in color and relish the life you've been
Right.
given. And if God's given you skin, it's not superficial to care for it.
I love
And
that.
if God's given you a body, there's a level of self-respect and measure to invest in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think it's always like it's finding the balance. And this is something I'm always thinking about because I'm like, okay, how can I, you know, invest in my health and invest in that? But you don't ever want to, in my mind, I don't ever want to go into a preoccupation with appearance. I think that's where it can become.
Yeah.
Because you have Jesus saying, who fussing in front of a mirror, you know, God's going to take care of you. And so I don't know if you ever, if that's ever like you think through that of like, where's that balance and how do you find that?
That is a good question because, like you were saying, it's something that if we don't do the internal work and we don't have that relationship and connection with God to know that our outer exterior appearance doesn't make us beautiful, that's where we can get lost. And I think that's where the intention can completely be, you know, blown out of proportion and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we all know I see nothing wrong with doing minor things to enhance your beauty as long as your intention is good, your heart is pure, and you're investing in yourself and your character and your faith, and you're putting that above the exterior things that you're doing. So
I think that's great. I think one of the things that you have, all of us at the table, but I love you bring out is, I just think the internal value system that we were talking about that comes from knowing God. I think most of the world doesn't have that.
yeah.
And so because there's no internal value system, we have in our culture have placed all the value on the exterior. And so whether it's Hollywood and the movies and who's popular and who's cast for roles and all these things, like it's just fascinating from our perspective. And so I think about all of the young men and women, a lot of women that are living in an environment where we're being educated and trained by TikTok, Instagram, and so I'm really curious, just real quick, and then if you have some questions, social media when it comes to beauty, not just because you're in the industry. I want to say for any of them, especially for women, but social media, has it been positive or negative?
I would say a mix of both.
Mix of both.
I would say in the last couple years, I have really started following a different type of following. Like I follow really real, honest moms who post their hair and do videos of messy bum with their kids crying in the background, and they're just like, this is a normal day in the life.
Real.
Yeah, and so there are still some of those like celebrities that I follow where we all love them, but I don't find myself finding interest in people who constantly post with filters or things that I know you in person. I know this isn't you. This is a fake version of you. So I feel like it's really important to follow real people who talk about real things. And it's okay if you want to post a filtered photo every now and again and wear a ton of makeup. That's okay. But I think it's really important to really focus your following on people who are giving the real version of life.
I want to say, I think you do that really well.
Thanks.
I do.
Try.
I follow you, and your stories are always funny.
Thanks.
And they're real, and you'll post stuff on there. I'm like, I shouldn't even go into the house looking like this, but oh well.
Yeah, literally.
And so I think you do a great job of, I think, keeping it real.
Thank you.
On social
I tried.
media, and I think the danger. See, here's the thing though. You're 26. I would say you are grounded. I think a lot. I mean, I've seen you grow and change in the last few years. You're grounded, like spiritually. I feel like you have found a lot of internal value in who you are with God and all these things. The sad reality is, I think there are a lot of young women, especially out there, that don't have that.
Yep.
And I think the influence of social media, other things, has added pressure, like massive pressure to look a certain way, to be beautiful. I mean, I've seen studies before where they have come out and they've said symmetry is beauty, right? When they've done all this scientific, like how perfectly symmetrical are your eyes and and all this stuff. But I just love the one quote that everybody knows: beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. And I want to say too, I feel like, I always questioned like my purpose and whatnot. And I think that God has put me in the career that I'm in because I am able to like minister and encourage a lot of young women who don't have a relationship with God. And, it's fine if you do Botox. What matters is what's within. And so I found over the last couple of years that's where I shine is having those moments and those therapy sessions, as you call it, when you're doing a lot of young women's hair. And, I'll subtly kind of nudge and push and put it out there that they're welcome to come try out my church because it's super cool.
Have you had a number come?
Yeah, I've had quite a few people come. There's still a lot of those people where it's been a couple years and I'm still kind of, but I'm here to show that, being a Christian doesn't have to look like this perfect person who, just walks a straight line. I think that it's really good that I'm able to be just really open and honest and say, look, everybody's walk with God looks different. And I just want you to come experience this because, it looks different for everybody. So
you have such a captive audience when you're doing people's hair.
Oh, you have no idea. I think I should charge extra for therapy.
I gotta say, it's a beautiful opportunity for you to share your life and your faith and where that strength and beauty comes from, and not just external. Like that's a really cool opportunity in the beauty industry. So
I love what I do.
I got a dumb question. Do you well, you don't do a lot of podcasts.
No.
I don't know if you followed the Girls Gone Bible podcast.
No,
I'm
sorry.
The two models in LA that just found Jesus like 3 years ago and like started a podcast together, and it's
I'm gonna follow. What was it called?
Called Girl. The name's cheesy.
Girls Gone Bible.
Girls Gone Bible.
Like
Girls Gone Wild. Yeah, I love it.
Girls Gone Bible.
I've been listening to Addie, who started working here recently.
Yeah,
I love her podcast.
Yeah.
So
she'd be another one
awesome.
I was just thinking of that
we
have her on here because she has a little bit of a story of fitness and was big into working out and I think doing shows and all that.
Cool.
Huh?
Her story's really cool.
And there's a lot to her story that is amazing. And then when she found Christ, like when she kind of had this, it transformed her in and out, and so she still like believes in all that stuff, but it stopped becoming an obsession.
Yeah.
And similar thing happened to my dad when my dad. So that maybe we'll save that story for. Maybe we'll save that kind of story for, and we'll do another one, and where it's maybe it's not as much about the beauty industry, although she probably, but just even her story of like similar, obsessed with working out, looking a certain way, not just in face, but all over your whole body. And I know your husband does shows. And is he getting ready for another one? I see him.
Oh no.
Okay, is he done with that?
He's just maintaining.
I see him practicing his
I was there at the
poses,
show.
and I was
yeah,
like,
you were.
I was there in
I was
Cleveland.
really
Tommy.
pregnant too. I was like 37 weeks pregnant at that show. But yeah, no, Tony likes it, but he does see like the negatives of competing, and people get very easily obsessed, and he's not really into that.
Hours, like 4 or 5 hours. My dad used to do that years ago and work out, and it was he was like literally his God. And then when he gave his life to Jesus, he stopped going to the gym altogether because he could spend I don't know, I can't remember, but he said sometimes up to 6 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Like you go in the morning
the
for
problem
hours,
with
you go in the evening, and
is like once you get to a certain point, you can't really compete natural anymore. You would have to do steroids or some sort of enhancements, and like that's just not something that
you know
he
what's
wants
crazy
to do.
though? Speaking of Tommy, I forget the guy's name. Is it Seabum?
Chris Bumstead.
Yes, the most famous bodybuilder in the world.
Yes.
yeah.
Tommy's telling me like his wife still follows Addie on
Wow, that is
Instagram.
so
Really?
cool.
Like, so the platform she has.
Yeah, it's
is
pretty
just
awesome from that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's another one.
That's
but
neat.
well, I don't have any other questions.
I just
you had a
listen
couple quick ones,
for the men watching, because I'm gonna trust that everybody's in different places when it comes to their skincare. But okay, let's just say for me.
Okay.
Listen, I waited way too long. Hey, look.
No, me too.
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
waited way
agreeing.
too long.
I didn't do anything for years.
That surprises me. I gotta be honest,
Yeah,
because you
with
do
you,
have
it does
really,
surprise
you
me.
really have good skin.
You know what?
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm gonna
that's
turn
right.
on
I'm
that
not
tonight.
hyping you up. I
Thank
am
you.
not. You really,
It
you
may
really
be
have
the
good
genes.
skin. You have a glowy skin.
You know what?
I think that's called sweat.
No, you know what?
probably.
Some people have said it is. It's kind of like when Moses was coming down from the mountain.
Oh,
and he was-
God, don't stop it.
No, okay.
face
But
is
you know,
shining
thank you,
on
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
But
What
so
tips can I give
what,
you?
well,
Okay.
so here's what I'm saying. So I've just, to be honest, and I appreciate the compliment. I have like just not. They say you should wash your face daily, moisturize. I'm just gonna be honest. Most of my life, it was like whatever, like water and soap hits my face in the shower.
Yep.
Yep,
It's
that's-
Your
about
shampoo,
it.
That's it.
your head and
Shampoo?
shoulders.
Yeah.
I do. Well, I do soap too, but
So for the
You have a
last couple
3-in-1, I bet.
years,
I'm just kidding.
I have some
2-in-1.
friends that are way
But I do-
better
I
at
condition
that.
So sorry.
And so I bought some Kiehl's.
Okay.
I bought.
I'm gonna assume Tommy recommended Kiehl's.
Tommy does Kiehl's. I don't know if it was him. I saw it in some magazine.
Wait.
I
What are
did
Kiehl's? I don't know what Kiehl's
And then
are.
I
It's
heard
like a
Li-
lotion.
and
It's
then
a nice lotion.
I heard Levi Lusko on a podcast. You know who that is?
No.
Author and pastor. About a year and a half ago, he talked about. He's a pastor in Montana, but he talked about he saw some study of people that wore strong, like high SPFs on sunny days,
Yeah.
and then other people who only did low SPF moisturizers, but every day.
Okay.
And the study between them
Oh, yeah.
after 10 years was remarkable. The people that only did a low SPF but every day looked 10 years younger
Yep.
than the people that had a high SPF but only.
Yep.
So like I'm having to deal with some like skin cancer stuff like right now, honestly. And I bought this stuff. I don't know if it was Kiehl's. It may have been something else, but it has like an SPF 10 or 5 or 10. But I'll use it when I remember.
It's okay.
After I like, do like a
Your
wash
last
and
step.
moisturize. And so I'm curious what you think about all that.
Okay.
And then I was at a bachelor party in Raleigh in October, and all of these guys, and I'm talking about like cool guys, they whatever.
How to skincare routine.
They all are like had these. They call it. It's actually a brand called Bro Mask.
I've heard
you
of
seen
it.
this?
No.
Because the one thing I have noticed the last year or two is like my eye hollows.
exactly.
And I'm
It just
like,
happens.
I'm like, okay, that's my one
Do a
superficial.
little
I'm like,
mask.
so okay, what? Give us, help me in PT.
Skincare treatment
Yeah,
routine
what's
for
your-
us.
So just the basics,
Okay,
right?
okay.
We'll keep it nice and basic.
Okay.
So even if you wash your face once a day, that's okay. But twice a day is preferred. You want to just do a cleanser. You want to do maybe like
Got
a
any brands you recommend for guys?
CeraVe, just at
Okay.
Kroger, Target.
That's what usually I've used after tattoos.
Super simple. Yeah, just like a nice hydrating cleanser. You'll want to exfoliate your face maybe once a week, and that could even be just like with a washcloth. But
yeah. So for the people out there that are like 6 years old, when you say exfoliate your face, what are you
6 years old or
describing?
60?
He's trying to get you to tell him because he doesn't know what it means.
I
And
know
that's his way of saying, for the people out there that don't know what you're talking about,
Okay.
if you were
I'm
to,
picking up on
to
it.
get away that
Okay, so exfoliate.
just an
Okay, but
abrasive way to scrub off the dead skin.
Yes.
Yeah. So between cleansing, moisturizing, exfoliating, like how do you differentiate those in your mind?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how
So
I differentiate
cleansing,
them.
We are so dumb.
you're gonna. I'm
We are.
really, really, really helping you guys. Now, if you guys don't look 10 years younger next year, then no, I'm just
Hey,
kidding.
okay.
So
Alright.
cleansing is gonna remove the oils. It's gonna remove the dirt, and it's gonna prep your skin and make it ready for you to like put your nice serums on. So you'll want to cleanse it, then you'll want to exfoliate, and you can get like a little microfiber exfoliant or whatever from the store. You just put it in your hands. It kind of feels like sand. Scrub your face really, really good, maybe once, twice a week. After that, you can.
I did this after I went to the Dead Sea.
Yeah. Okay. See.
I
Perfect.
bought some of the stuff from the shop
If you
and
get
used
the
it
right
for a
kind
week.
of, you get the
Yeah.
right kind of exfoliant lotions or soaps,
Yeah.
they feel like they have little grits of
Yes.
whatever in
Yes.
it, and you rub. And I had
Yes.
one that I was using for a while.
Yeah, and that'll really help you like stay looking younger because you're getting that like dead skin off, and you're like
Yeah.
really, really getting in there and telling your face to like start reproducing more collagen. So anyway,
That's it.
you want to do
Tell
that
it.
like twice a week, but
Okay.
just to keep it really basic, you really just want to cleanse, and you want to put like a really nice moisturizer on, and then
But would you moisturizer in morning or evening, or
I
does
would
it matter?
do both. You
Do both?
could do like a CeraVe like AM in the morning, obviously, and then like a CeraVe PM at night. And typically the ones for PM are like more hydrating or whatever.
Yeah.
But your back to your sunscreen, 5 to 10 SPF is not enough. When you
Dang.
say low
But
SPF,
even on like
30.
cloudy days.
oh yeah,
No.
you always want to wear at least like a 30.
So you were an SPF 30 every day.
I'm gonna be
here.
honest, I don't wear it every single day
Okay.
because sometimes it like looks weird under makeup. You know what I mean? But you don't wear makeup, so that's totally fine. But no, if you stay committed and you're wearing like a nice SPF 30 on your face every day, you almost like start aging in reverse if you really,
Really?
invest in your
Wow.
skin. You could,
Oh,
you know, the little things you guys are talking about you want to fix, skincare can really help with that. So
Okay.
yeah. So as long as you just do even a basic routine, and then
I started doing some. I started
Oh,
doing
yeah, let's
a
hear
couple
yours.
about a year or two ago because there was a guy here that was part of our church that worked at Beauty Counter, and so he was able to get stuff.
Okay.
So I was doing a vitamin C serum.
there you go.
Okay.
Now I do know when you put vitamin C serum on, you have to be careful about exposure to the sun.
Yeah, it makes
right?
you a little
It'll
more
make you
vulnerable.
more vulnerable
Yep,
for
yep.
burn and things like that. So I still do that every morning after I
Wow.
take a shower, wash my face.
Okay, so have you heard this though? If you put it on when your face is still damp, it actually absorbs better into your skin.
Really?
I've tried that and it does work.
Does
so
it
just
work?
a little
Okay.
tip. Yeah.
So I've been doing vitamin C serum. I was for a while trying to do. My wife would have all kinds of things for women. You have to take off your makeup
Right.
and do this, and she has moisturizer things. And so she had some. It was about a couple years ago. I was like, man, I feel like my eyes are this. So she's like, use some of my eye cream,
Yeah,
eye cream. So for a
hydrate your
while, I was
eyes.
doing night cream. I was like, put it
I would
on,
love to
right?
get a whole reel of his nighttime routine.
And
need to
so,
make
and
this.
so-
Yes.
Yeah.
but I
her
need,
doing a facial.
but I need
Yeah.
to
You.
do. I need to be like, but I'm not consistent because I feel like women are probably more consistent
Yeah,
because
we
if you
have the
put makeup on,
drive
you
and-
have to take your
Yeah.
makeup off, otherwise it's not good for you.
Exactly.
And so, whereas I'm late at night, tired, I'm like, I don't want to even brush my teeth and go to bed. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait,
so.
one thing I just thought of
Yeah.
that's really important: if you sleep on your back, you will not have as many wrinkles.
Oh, I've heard
So-
I'm
this.
a side sleeper more
Yeah,
than I am
see,
a back
that's bad. I'm a
sleeper.
side sleeper too.
I'm a
So
stomach sleeper.
yeah, when you're
Most
like
people are.
sleeping like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get that, you wake up and that
Oh.
eye bag is really
Oh.
prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to start, yeah, sleep on your back.
Okay, well, I think
Okay.
this is good motivation for us to have a good skincare treatment. I'm serious. Let's just
Yeah.
start doing it. I figure it's just too late. That's what I just figured. But if you think it
No.
reverses
No, it's never
things,
too
You
late.
will.
hey,
Yeah.
come on, let's do it.
Wear your SPF.
Let's do it. I'll close with this.
Okay.
I had this to go along with it. American Academy of Dermatology, 11 ways to reduce premature skin aging. Real quick ones you can do. Was that 11? Doesn't look like. Protect your skin from the sun every day. So that's
Yep.
what we said. I never do that. I mean, if I go out, I don't think about it. I'm not outside a ton.
It needs to
during
be a
the
part
week.
of your routine.
But maybe if there's a morning lotion, because I do, every time I get a shower, I put on the vitamin C serum. I do it pretty much 7 days a week.
Should
like-
be as important as SPF.
But that's what. But like
already
maybe
doing
it would be more important.
Exactly. No, 100%.
Like, so maybe getting a lotion that has it that would just be just like that, putting that on, that might be really good. Apply self-tanner rather than get a tan.
Yep, that's me every Thursday.
What color are you normally?
What color am I normally?
Yeah. Are you normally pale?
I would say I'm Russ's color,
Are
so
you?
really freaking pale.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You know what's sad if you're being serious is I have
This
more
is you
color.
tan?
Well,
He feels like he has.
I the last week I'm not tan, but the
Yeah.
last week
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've been out in the sun running, and so
I would say I'm as pale as his face normally.
Okay.
Your arms are a little tanner
Yeah,
than your
just from
face
being
right now.
exposed to
So
the
I'm
sun.
fair. I'm
You're
very
pretty fair?
Yeah,
okay.
very fair.
So a self-tanner.
Yep.
And that's my youngest daughter does that now as well. Like whenever she, for almost like health reasons, which I do think that's one of the benefits of some things in social media today. I think mass media, or I want to say like media out of Hollywood, I think creates a superficial thing.
Yeah.
I think some social media does. But I think there's been this education process and some of it about it. And so she's like, oh my gosh, you getting a tanning bed?
Oh,
she would
yeah.
say, she's like, you should not get a tanning bed.
Yep. Please don't
My skin's so
tan.
fair. She's like that, but she'll get. So we've kind of like in our household have kind of adopted some more self-tans. I haven't as much, but my wife does and other things.
Have you done it?
self-tanned?
No, I have not. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
You
I
said
have
as
not.
much.
I was
No,
gonna-
I have not done the self-tanning as much. Well, every once in a while.
I just
want to
tell you one thing.
I've done some regular tanning, not a ton.
I
but,
was just
like
gonna
before
say.
go on trips and stuff, and I probably shouldn't.
I would judge you way less if you self-tanned. I really would.
Really?
I'm not saying I judge you because you get in a tanning bed because
Okay.
like everybody wants to be tan, but
Yeah.
like
I
Wear your
kinda have,
SPF
I have a
then.
little bit more of a olive complexion
Yeah.
like, versus my wife and
Yeah.
my daughters.
Yeah.
And so I also tan quickly.
Yes.
and
Audrey's
it doesn't
very
so you
fair.
need like once a
Huh?
month.
Audrey's very fair.
Yeah, she's fair, and so that. But she's like, but the tanning stuff, like, she won't really do that. But she would do probably self-tanner and has
Okay.
for years. But some of that's just more health because she's just
Yeah.
been into this for so much.
Yeah.
If you smoke, stop. Smoking bad for your skin.
Mm.
Avoid repetitive facial expressions. I told him, like, don't smile. Like, what are you supposed to do? It's like,
Yeah, I want to earn
Like
my
it- like-
smile wrinkles.
I know that's weird. Eat a healthy, well-balanced diet.
Mm-hmm.
So that does affect things. Drink less alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol has negative effect on your skin.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that. I almost
Oh,
drink no
yeah.
alcohol, but it's not because I have anything against it. I don't care about alcohol, and I'm too cheap to buy it. Like people, I'm like, no. You go have fun. I don't care. Exercise most days of the week. We all do that. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you work out, right?
Yeah.
We work out. I do 4 days a week. You do 8 days a week. You said. What do you? How many days you? You're about 5, 6.
I mean, it's usually
try-
something every day.
You
I'm
every day.
usually either in the gym or going on a run every day.
Or going on a walk or
Good for
something.
you.
That's good. Cleanse your skin gently. So those are some from the American Academy of
Love that.
Dermatology, and so I think it's been a fascinating conversation. I feel like
Yeah.
I've learned a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Just even about skincare and all the procedures and the things. And so thank you for coming
Yeah,
on
you're
here.
welcome.
Thank you.
were
It was
awesome to have
fun.
on here.
Yeah.
You're just so great. Like it was such a great
Thanks.
conversation. I think it'll be helpful to create a conversation ongoing out of this,
For
especially
sure.
for a younger generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the pressure of this and some of the things that I feel like you brought up about chasing perfection, and even where you said, I know I'm beautiful,
Right.
but not because of those things.
Yeah.
I think that's valuable for people.
Yeah. I agree.
I
So
love that.
awesome stuff.
Beautiful.
Are you gonna sing
Oh, let's
something?
hear it.
Every single. What's that old song?
I don't
you
know.
are beautiful.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, words can't bring me down. I was waiting
love
for
it.
you to chime
Yeah.
in.
See? Oh, that was beautiful. There you
It
go.
was a combination of that one, and there's an older song. It's gonna come to me later.
No,
All right.
you're good.
All right.
We're not
Anyways,
recording.
we're
agree with you.
recording. I don't
All
have
right.
to brainstorm out loud. Thank you so much, Kailin.
You're welcome.
This has been amazing.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was
this
fun.
conversation. If you have any comments, questions, then as always, send them to Pastor Tim.
No, send them to Russ.more. Yeah. If you have questions about skincare routines, we'd be happy to answer them on the next episode. Just
Yes.
Russ and I are pretty good at this
Text
stuff.
her.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Until next week, we will see you then. Hey guys, it's Russ. Thanks so much for listening. We really believe if we can get around tables instead of behind screens, if we can talk to each other instead of at each other, we can make the world better. To help us do that, here are a few things you can do to help. First, if you haven't yet, leave a review on Apple or Spotify and hit subscribe on YouTube. This helps more than you know. Also, if you have been impacted by the community out of which this podcast comes, that's X-Church. Maybe you're local or you've been touched by the messages and impact across the country, even the world. I want to encourage you to support this work. A powerful life principle is to invest in the people and places that invest in you. And so I want to invite you to do that right now by going to thex.church/give. You can give a one-time small gift, a sacrificial gift, or even become a recurring partner. Together, let's keep elevating the conversation, thinking higher, loving deeper, and making the world better. Cheers.